Scuffmaster, pretty tough paint.
Hey everybody, John Horner, it's good to see you again. So what we wanted to talk about today are the different types of spray equipment, spray guns, the different types of equipment that contractors are going to use when they're installing the Scuffmaster finishes. Now, as you're calling on more and more contractors, this is something that's going to come up, and I mentioned it before, I don't expect you to go out and spray to show these guys how to install these finishes, but it's going to help you to understand the different types of equipment, what they're used for, and more importantly, what they're not used for. So there's three different types that we're going to focus on: conventional, HVLP, and airless. And what we're going to start with right now is the conventional sprayer. So what I have here is a conventional setup. Conventional means I need a compressor that's going to attach here. That compressed air is going to power this piece of equipment. So if you've read the instructions, you've come across a dual regulated 2-gallon pressure pot with a Binks 2001 gun. So this is our conventional setup. How this works: we put the paint in here, we attach our compressor, and then we control with this how much paint comes out, and with this how much air pressure atomizes it. If it's solid metal, if it's smooth pearl, there's going to be more air pressure to get that atomization. If we're spraying the pattern coat for armor, ambient design, or ambient metallic, we're going to use really low pressure to get that, that splatter coat, that controlled pattern. Different types of air caps. This is what's called an external mix air cap. So the paint comes up gun and out that hose, and this air cap shapes the air that travels over the gun, and as the paint, that stream of paint comes out, this shapes it into a flat spray fan. Solid metal, clear coats, the clear pearl coat. You could use this for the base coats for all of the finishes, but it's not the best option for that. It would work, but it's not the best option. And then we have the solo air cap. This is the air cap that sprays the pattern for armor, ambient metallic, and ambient design. You don't need to change anything else on this gun, just simply replace that air cap. So again, this is conventional. Kind of the old standby. It's been around for years. Most of the more experienced painters are familiar with this, but it's a great piece that gives you great control because you're able to control the paint and the air pressure separately to get that perfect finish. So conventional spray equipment is the old traditional technology. It was the first real type of spray equipment using compressed air. Newer technology is the HVLP. I'm sure you've heard that abbreviation before. HVLP, high volume, low pressure. Here we have a pretty experienced HVLP sprayer. Basically what this is, the way that it works, instead of having a compressor to supply the air, it's a vacuum cleaner in reverse. So it's a big turbine that spins and it blows air out through that hose and it attaches onto this gun. So you'll notice a couple of differences right away. Instead of a 2-gallon pressure pot, we have 1 quart cup. And with newer HVLPs, there are some variations where you can have a larger container for the paint. But the way that this works, the air travels over here, and there's a diaphragm in here, so it siphons the paint up and spits it out on the wall. Very clean, meaning there's a lot less overspray, but the trade-off for that cleanness or that efficiency is that it's slow. So this is great for smaller applications of solid metal or smooth pearl. I wouldn't use it for scrub tough, I wouldn't use it for the base coats. This is more of a finesse tool. So the way that it works, again, you've got that air pressure that travels over and it siphons the paint up. Because you just have that siphoning mechanism, there's no pressure here, you don't have the same control that you do with conventional, so you are somewhat limited. This is ideal for smaller applications, for more confined applications, because this is it. This unit that we plug in, and we have this gun with this hose. Real basic settings: on, off, high, low. That's it. Very easy, very portable, but you are somewhat limited. Slower, and it don't have the capacity that you do with that conventional setup, with that 2-gallon pressure pot. In the instructions, we also talk about a hybrid system. Now what that means is we borrow the 2-gallon dual regulated pressure pot from the conventional setup and an HVLP gun. This is a Binks Mach 1 HVLP gun. It's a versatile piece of equipment. You can spray everything, solid metal, smooth pearl, as well as the textured finishes. The benefit with this HVLP is that you're able to use lower pressure, so it's cleaner, more paint actually ends up on the wall, less overspray, going back to the efficiency. But you also have the production of that 2-gallon pressure pot. This is hybrid, not very common, but it's a great way to spray all of the Scuffmaster finishes. The third piece of equipment is what's called an airless sprayer. Airless because you don't need a compressor and you don't have a turbine like the conventional and the HVLP. This works solely with pressure, and a lot of pressure, sometimes 1,500, 2,000 psi or pounds per square inch. So you would put the paint here, dip this stem into it, and then there's a piston that just churns up and down, and it creates that enormous pressure, pushes it through this line, out this gun, and it forces it through a pinprick of a hole. This is called a tip for an airless sprayer. This is production. This is going to spray gallons a minute, very fast. Great for scrub tough, great for the base coats for the textured finishes, great for the base coat for smooth pearl. Not recommended for solid metal or for smooth pearl. Too much paint, you're not going to get the results. So you're going to come across the paint contractor who has a guy who's been painting for 25 years and he's seen and done everything, and he can get it to work with an airless. He can't. There's a couple of reasons. First, we talked about how much paint comes out. Solid metal, 4 or 5 light passes. This is going to blast on paint too quickly. But also this thing has filters. There's a filter here and there's a filter in the gun to prevent any particles, any trash to get clogged in this tip. Well, solid metal has metal particles. Smooth pearl has mica particles. Those are going to get caught in the tip. They're going to get caught in the filters. So it's not going to work. It's not a good option. This is a great production tool. It's great for putting on scrub tough. It's great for putting on the base coats, but it is not recommended for any of the pretty finishes. This is the airless. It's probably the most recognizable. Most contractors are going to have these because they are versatile, but in the Scuffmaster world, they do have some limitations. We've covered the 4 different types of application equipment that contractors are going to use for Scuffmaster. Conventional, hybrid, HVLP, and airless, how they work, what they're used for, and what they should not be used for. And the intent of this video is to give you the information to sit down with the contractors, with the estimators specifically, and make sure that they have the right equipment going out to the job site, giving the painters the right tools to put our paint on the wall the right way. For detailed application instructions, we have the web for the videos, we have all the printed information, and of course you have your technical support personnel. For Scuffmaster Paint, this is John Horner. Thanks for watching.
Scuffmaster. Pretty tough